I served my mission in Independence, Missouri, which was a very special place in church history. Joseph Smith, the prophet of the Restoration, lived there for a time. And while I was there, my testimony of Joseph Smith strengthened a lot. I was able to be in a lot of places that Joseph Smith himself was, including the Liberty Jail, where Joseph Smith was held for 4 months with 5 other men. And in those places, I really thought about the things that Joseph Smith did when he was alive and when he was a prophet. And I really wanted to know if he really did what he said he did, if he saw Heavenly Father in Jesus Christ, and if he translated the Book of Mormon so that we can read it, and if that was a true book. And the longer I served there, the more my testimony strengthened of Joseph Smith. I served in the Visitor Center in Independence, and I saw hundreds of people every day as I served there, as they would come into the Visitor Center. And every time I got the chance to bear my testimony of Joseph Smith. And inside, I always felt the Spirit confirming the truth of that to me. One time in particular, though, I was at the Liberty Jail with somebody that I was teaching, and they personally were having a hard time with believing that Joseph Smith was a prophet. And I remember my companion and I were praying really hard for this person, and it was really interesting because at that time, I thought that I was for sure that I knew that Joseph Smith was a prophet. And we went in, and we were standing there looking at the jail, and I was really, really, really praying that this person was going to have a spiritual experience. And they did, and they got the confirmation that Joseph Smith was a prophet. But at the same time, my testimony strengthened more than I can put into words. I felt that burning in my bosom that I knew that Joseph Smith was a prophet of God and is a prophet of God, and that he really did see Heavenly Father in Jesus Christ and he prayed to him. And I know that Joseph Smith translated the Book of Mormon, and I know that that is a true book. As I've read it and I've prayed about it, and it teaches of Christ, and I am grateful for the sacrifices that Joseph Smith made to bring the church in its fullness back to the earth. I'm also grateful for living prophets, that God uses our living prophets as a way to continue to communicate with us, that we never will be in that darkness again, that we'll always have a prophet that speaks for God here on the earth. And today that prophet is President Nelson, and I'm grateful for him and for the example that he sets and the revelation that he receives for us from our Father in heaven, and that he gives that to us. And I'm grateful that Heavenly Father loves us enough to continue to call prophets. And I know that that is a sign of his love, that God still speaks to us today as he did to his ancient people through his ancient prophets.